ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all my Cha Cha Geng across the globe. Welcome to another episode of the Cha Cha Let's Talk Music series on the Cha Cha Music Review Podcast with yours musically, artiste. You know how I get to do it on this series now. I get to have conversation with different people and we talk about anything and everything that is music related. And I know I'm not to waste time. I'll just allow my guest to introduce himself.
This is Mifa Adejumo, host of the U&I podcast. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you very much for being here, Mifa. I'm really honored to have you on the podcast.
It's a pleasure.
I'm sorry, just a quick one. Do you have any sister by the name Dami?
No, I don't.
Okay. I used to know Dami Adejumo back then in secondary school. I just wanted to be sure. I mean, it's a small life.
Adejumo is a common Yoruba name now. I'm from Edo State anyways.
Because you don't look like a true Yoruba boy.
You're listening to Cha Cha Let's Talk Music series with artiste.
Today we'll be talking about something interesting, like a conversation that has been going on a lot of time. We hear people say this, like when an artist releases a song and the song is not probably up to standard, and we hear their fans come to the defense and say, oh, it's what the fans want that the artist is releasing. So first of all, is that really a thing in the music industry? Like, okay, the artists are releasing song based on what the fans are actually demanding for. Is that a thing to start with?
I think it is to an extent. Okay. It also has to do with the fact that there is this thing called stan culture.
Okay.
And stan culture kind of makes you think that everything a particular artist does is perfect. There's no wrong. There's no mediocre level to it. When you really like an artist, every song feels like
Okay, let's break that stand down to our whole Nigerian total mentality, the FCs.
Yeah, basically that is it. Like once you're from the outside looking in, I feel like you can be more critical about music.
Okay.
If you don't allow the thing get into your head. Because you hear some song and you be like, man, this is just trash. But then you go online, you see people hyping it up, people telling you, wow, this is the best song ever, this artist is so on top of his game and stuff like that. But you are listening to this now, like, man, this is not. And people tell you, well, it's subjective, what you might like and that person won't like. But at the end of the day, there's still a standard that should be set. Like, I have this issue, and I know people might come from me. I have this issue with Wizkid's music, and I just have to say, like, Wizkid is a very talented artist.
Yes,
nobody's doubting that one.
Definitely.
But his music for the past 4 or 5 years has been mid. I don't want to call it trash, but just mid. Like, there's nothing new. The lyrics feel like he's just repeating himself. But yet, people stand him.
Yeah.
Having more features. People are calling him one of the greatest, legend and stuff like that. But his music to me is mid. There's nothing to it. I'm not seeing anything different. Like, okay, what are you singing? You just come back, repeat phrases. You're not shaking bum bum, blah blah blah. And yet, people will not agree with that. Most people will be like, oh, Wizkid. So you can understand them coming from their point of view of, okay, this is their artist, so they need to stand him. Anything he does is gold and stuff like that. But if people take time to be more critical about things, discover that some of these artists are not actually doing their best. They're not. It's almost like because of the praises, they just stay in one level because they know that no matter what they do, if Wizkid cough tomorrow on a song, it will sell.
Of course, his fans will get it.
So, and he's aware of that. He's aware of the fact that he has a very loyal fan base. So no matter what he sings, it's always going to just go. So you see these artists are not really being critical. They're not trying to put out their very best because they understand that the meat that they will put out is always going to be hyped to be their very best. So, and it's very common in the Nigerian music space because a lot of artists, a lot of the sound now are so similar. It's almost like there are very few people trying to experiment with new sounds. Trying to experiment with new lyrics. It's almost like this dance thing. Once a new dance comes out,
everybody jumps on the dance trend.
So the same thing. Once a new sound comes out, everybody wants to do it, and nobody is trying to carve a niche. Very few people are trying to carve their niche, and people that are trying to carve their niche, you see people not really paying attention to them because it's not bumping. It's not a club banger, as it were. So I feel like as much as the fans also have something to do, the artists also have to try and go above what you think is your peak. Try and experiment with new sound. Wizkid, for crying out loud, there's nobody you call now that would not want to work
do something with you.
Try and what is wrong with Wizkid trying to experiment with rock?
Anyway, that's going to be a conversation for another day, trust me. But there's always this argument I put forward when I hear people say like, oh, here's the fans dictate the kind of music the artist should do, blah blah. I'm like, okay, let's say that is true for a while. Now, how exactly, like, how do these artists, for example, how do they get to know, okay, this is the kind of music? Because I used to tell people like, look, if I'm an artist, is what I give you that you take. If I continue to give you, now you've used Wizkid as an example. Now for people that listen to rap music, I'll go to Mode 9. A lot of time you hear people say, oh, Mode 9 is too hardcore, Mode 9 is too this, but till death, Mode 9 still remains that person. And if you are, like you rightly said, if you are, a fan of just rap music, not, the Stan or the FCs and, all that, you would understand that what Mode 9 is doing is rap music. Do you understand? And Mode 9 did not say, oh, because Mode 9 continued giving us that kind of music, we accepted him like that. We've tried to push Mode 9 away and say, no, but still.
Well, I think there also has to be a distinction, though.
Okay.
For example, with Mode 9 had a couple of songs where he experimented in being very commercial.
Yeah, but it wasn't as much as if you check his own catalog.
I know. But even at that, you find out that, and a very critical thing about Mode 9 is, as much as we say you should not dumb your lyrics down, there should also be a level of understanding that should come with what you do.
Okay.
And this is why most times you find, as much as Mode 9 is one of the pioneers of rap in Nigeria, you find people still rating MI higher than him.
Mode 9, yeah.
Because of the fact that MI came into the game and he brought a kind of relatable feel to rap. You could rap along to some MI songs and with clever punchlines, clever wordplay, and you feel like, man, I sabi this thing because of the way he made it easily accessible to everybody. There are people who are not fans of rap music, but they are fans of MI because of the way he raps, And MI is a very good rapper.
Yeah, he is.
A light level rapper. But still, he's able to capture those fans where, you might not be a hardcore rapper, but a hardcore rap fan, but you can understand, that is the problem with Mode 9. As much as he's not dumbing down his lyrics, he still has that elitist look to him. It's almost like if you're not into the inner caucus of rap, you get Mode 9. And yes, that's fine. He would always have a loyal fan base towards that, yeah. And in a way, it's almost like the Wizkid thing. Those loyal fan base will always feed his ego. Like, fuck it, man, you're the rap airlines, man. You don't need to dumb it down for these kids coming out. And that thing gets into his head. It's like, no, as long as these people are loyal to this sound, no problem. The same thing with the Wizkids. As long as these people are loyal to this sound, as long as I cough and they say it's the best, then why not just stick to this thing? So you find that it plays different ways because they actually always get feedback from their fans. Yeah. When you release a song or an album, you always hear what your fans have to say. So imagine Wizkid always hearing his fans saying, man, this is dope. How do you want him to know it's trash? He will not find out, and this is the thing, it is human nature for you to seek out the best reviews. If you have 50 people saying your shit is dope and like 5 people saying it's trash, do you think you're gonna be looking for the people that are saying it's trash? People always try to use that misconception that critical. Most of us will always avoid criticism. We will go to what may feed our ego. Yeah. Even when it is doused in little criticism, we still look for the ones we can hold on to and be like, okay, the positive in it. Yeah. When we think any criticism is somehow negative. But people say like, criticism. It is not hate. If your music is trash, it's trash. And I feel like you should be able to say this thing about a Wizkid's music because of the pedestal where he's in. If he's an upcoming artist, it's easier for you not to just tell an upcoming artist that your music is trash because it's demoralizing. He might not want to do it again. Can I encourage him like, I like what you're doing, but you can try this and that. That's when an upcoming artist, because you want to encourage, continue, keep putting your effort. But Wizkid is up there, so he should know. Like, man, this your music is trash. Do this thing better because people the upcoming ones are looking up to you. Is this what you want them to look up towards? And that's what you find in the industry now, that the upcoming ones are not even trying to make any very good effort because they're always like, okay, we are in the shadow of Wizkid. How the fuck are you in the shadow of Wizkid if Wizkid is releasing trash? Why not aim to do better than him? Why not aim to make your lyrics have substance? Oh, Wizkid is always saying, baby, oh, baby. Why not change it and look for something else? Why must you sound like Wizkid? Why not create your own lane? And that's the thing Burna Boy does that people are always gravitating to him like Burna Boy. As much as Burna Boy is a good artist, in a way, he created his own sound.
Yeah, he did.
In a way, you can always put Burna Boy in a different name from the Whiskey, from the Davidos, because he's just Burna Boy. He did that in his own way. So why not do that?
See as Yanni just a sweet for my ear. The Cha Cha Let's Talk music series with Artiste Nova. Hey God, conversation with the boss brain.
We've spoken about how the fans will have a major, influence in how an artist will release a song. When they release a song, they want to hear the fans' feedback and how they relate to the song. So, if, for example, an artist releases a trash song, should we put the blame on the fans for saying we accept it like that? Or do you think, because the Nigerian music industry is growing mass, not that it's growing, it has grown, and it will continue to grow.
True.
And the only way for our music to expand further is if we have good content.
True.
So do you think that the fans should at some certain point and say, okay, guy, I know say it's my guy, but try for this song? Do you think the fans should get to that level and say, yes, you've done this, but then again you can go higher?
And that's the thing now. The fans do that, but those people that do that they'll be ostracized. They'll not be considered fans. Because when you and I go online and say, oh, this music is not really up to the Whiskey's power or Davido's power, people would attack us. But we're also fans of the music. We like, if we're not fans, we'll not go and listen to him to start with. True. But we're fans. We want to always Whiskey drop a new music, let's go and check it out. Because we are fans. But we are not stans, we are not there to die for it or anything. We are there to enjoy music. Yeah, enjoy the music, enjoy the content. So the fans actually give critical feedback. But these people don't listen to critical feedback. And these people have more yes men in their circle than anything else. If Davido is always giving you money for phone and car, are you going to start going to the studio and telling Davido, man, this thing you are saying in this song does not make sense? You lose your privileges. As much as they say, oh, I listen to critical, it doesn't work that way. Except maybe you're a two-face. If you're a two-face and you come down and tell Davido, man, I listen to their music, you should change this. It's easier for them to listen to that because ego will be like, oh, this one is higher than me. But you on the street will be like, who are you? You see it every day on the we are not buying the music, we are not streaming the music. Yeah, they don't care because they already have the stamp culture behind them. They already have the stamp culture behind them. They look at you like, if one person like this does not stream my music, not shit. I have 20 loyal fans who will
stream the music.
And those 20 loyal fans will come and attack that one person like, who are you? What do you do? What do you know? You be shitting on somebody's hustle, wicked person, blah blah blah. And their ego is revived. Like, see, I told you, 20 loyal fans, and they believe this music is sweet.
Now you just mentioned something I actually wanted us to touch on, which is the fans attacking each other, and we see this a lot of times, on Twitter and all that. Now, I always feel like, I know, yes, like you rightly said, the stan culture and all that, but don't you feel a lot of these stans now, the stans and the FCs, don't you think it's high time they try to separate the artists from the music?
Ideally, I think people should be able to separate the artist from the art. Ideally. But we're not in an ideal world. People always... It happens with movies, it happens with every other thing. You see some certain characters in movies and you think that's how they are in real life. This happens with most of our Nigerian actresses and actors. The patient of Zoko, you see her and you feel like she's evil. And they've done this constantly because it's almost like they are stereotyped into a particular role. It's the same thing with the artists as well. You have a lover boy kind of artist, he's stereotyped into that particular role because, and again, it boils down to not experimenting. He has always been dropping albums that are always about love. So it's easier for you to think, oh man, this is how his life goes. Forgetting that sometimes these songs were written by other people. Sometimes, he just goes into the studio and just sings. He doesn't actually have to have any emotions attached to it because that's his job. But these emotions are always going to be attached from our end. Once we are able to consciously separate it, it happens with people who you want to cancel. There was this thing that happened in Tory Lanez released the new album where he was explaining his issue with Megan Thee Stallion and stuff like that. And people are like, don't stream the music. I can't believe you're trying to capitalize on it. Yeah, you can't believe it, but it's happening. Does it make the music bad? No. Does it mean this person is somebody that has sense? No. You might still hate Tory Lanez, but you still if you want to listen to the music, it doesn't make you a bad person because it's still art. It's still a form of expression.
You spoke about cancellation. Do you really think that's a thing that can work with Nigerian artists, or can you like picture a Nigerian artist that you feel has been cancelled out by the fans?
I don't think any Nigerian artist has been cancelled. I just feel like it gets to a point where sometimes you fade out of relevance.
Okay.
You just, people don't just fuck with it anymore because maybe you're not putting as much effort as the videos, as the whiskey, and you just fall out of sight. But still, you can bounce back. Of recent, Dare Atalade,
he has
new song, a new album and stuff like that. So, but for a while, nobody talked about him.
Yeah.
Nobody remembered that there was Dare Atalade.
Yeah.
So it happens, So it's not. I don't think Nigerians know how to cancel anybody. It's not in our DNA. It's not in our DNA because here's the thing: you have people who just want to be contrarian, like people who just want to go against the grain. Like if people are going right, they want to people that even if they know that going right is right, they just want to go left to cause discord. So once you say, oh, this artist is cancelled, you have people that because you say they are cancelled, they'll say, no,
you don't cancel out.
The rest of you are mad. Stuff like that. So with that kind of environment, it's not possible.
All right, so this next one now, please, you people should not hold me for this. This one is going to be on Mifa, please. Mention 3 songs
Okay.
that are trash to you.
Look, if I'm being honest, I can say the past 2 catalog of whiskey has just been trash, to be honest.
Okay.
The past 2, and that's all coming from you.
I'm sorry to
again, as much as it's easy to just say this is trash,
yeah.
I think one also has to understand that there are also other elements attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
You could also look at it from the place of the artist, like where it's coming from. The fact that it's not just him thinking.
Okay.
He has a team around him, has production team around him, and these people are experts in their field, allegedly, or something like that. So you understand that sometimes even what they hear might not be what you're hearing. Yeah. And again, truthfully, music is objective. It's subjective rather.
Yeah.
What you might like might not be what I like. So while I might say, okay, these music are not up to par to whiskey standard, there are people who know music better than me and think, you know what? I don't think that's right. This guy actually is doing well.
Okay.
But which one? Besides whiskey, which other song I think is trash? I think this is all the songs, the catalog. I think Tiwa Savage's latest album,
Celia.
and that's one of the things that offend me because I feel like you guys should do better. Your caliber of people should do better. It was just all over the place.
This conversation that you are having about Tiwa Savage, I was having this conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, and I was telling the guy, was like, I think the problem with Tiwa is she has gotten to a peak whereby for now she cannot create beyond what she's putting out.
But I feel like that's basically a social construct, that idea of a peak. I feel like you get to a peak for a particular way of doing things.
That's what I'm saying. Like she has gotten to that peak of doing this thing.
So why not switch? Why not try something else? Like I still don't understand why Nigeria.
I think is the how am I going to put it? The fear of it being rejected. The fear of what if I put it out?
But here's the thing.
And they don't take it.
Here's the thing, though. I can understand an upcoming artist being afraid,
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like as a top tier artist, you have that room to experiment. You understand? Because even if the music is not, they don't like it, you can always chalk it up to, that was me experimenting with different sounds. But
let me go back to my.
It's it's easier for you because you already have a loyal fan base to start with, and those ones will like whatever you bring to them. The people that you are trying to pander to are, trying to bring new people into the fans, new sounds, try new things.
Alright, anyway, it's been a very, very interesting conversation with Mifa. I mean, if we should continue this, trust me, we are not going to leave here. And before I just end this, I mean, my apologies to our live audience. This show was recorded in front of a live audience. So apologies to our live audience. Hello, my man. Anyway, Mifa, thank you very much for being on the podcast today. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. I hope we can, do this some
no problem.
other time.
I'm always available.
All right, thank you very much. All right, guys, that is it. You've heard it. If you know that what we've said today, you like we rightly said, you don't sit with what we said. Maybe for you, you feel like the fan does not control the artist; it's the artist that control the fan. You can always drop your conversation on my Instagram handle. That is Cha Cha Music Podcast on Instagram. Just drop the conversation. Let the conversation keep going. You can also tweet at me at Afistonova. And yes, Mifa, quickly tell us where they can get to listen to your own podcast, because trust me, that podcast is dope.
Well, the podcast is available on most platforms. The regular one, Spotify, the Apple, the Anchor, the You and I podcast, and we just try to talk about life, the lessons learned, share stories, have amazing guests, and just enjoy ourselves in a way. Yeah.
All right, so there you have it, guys. Thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Cha Cha Let's Talk Music series with Afistonova.